Yo, we were about to listen to a call that closed before. This is about a year old, this one, but I think it was a decent call. The guy turned out to be a great client. Um, let's listen to it. Constats, John Constats. It didn't confirm, so we'll see if he's going to join. He joined. Spoiler. Speed this up. This is like chubby Ben. Where is this guy? Speed it up a bit.
Brains sparking on all cylinders. All right, here he is. Cool. But let him in the room. Make sure my brains sparking on all cylinders. Didn't go to the gym this morning, but you know what? Okay, let's let him in.
Got to make sure the synapses are spark.
What's up, John?
What's up? Hold on a second. It's Ben, right?
Hey, oh, 1 second. I think my head thingy wasn't plugged in. Can you hear me?
You hear me now? Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, loud and clear, bro. How's it going?
Perfect.
Dude, I love the shit. I got ships all over my office here.
Thanks, bro. It's been in the family for like many I think like 2 generations. It's like an antique. It's really nice.
That's cool, man. Nice. Where in the world are you?
I'm in Montreal.
Really? Cool.
Yeah.
Not far away from me, man. I'm actually in Halifax.
Oh no way, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Awesome,
I used to go to Halifax all the time in my previous career. I was working as an account executive, and I spent a lot of time in Halifax. My territory was all the way in the Maritimes, so I know the city pretty well. Yeah, I like it. It's a nice place. Yeah, I find Halifax way nicer than Quebec.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Montreal in general. The Maritimes, you guys are much nicer, much friendlier, much happier with life. I like it.
Yeah, it's just too cold there, man. But yeah, dude. Well, I'm excited to kind of dive in here. I've got like 45 minutes to an hour. Is that what you have as well?
Yeah, man. I mean, I only have a meeting at 1 p.m. today, so
Cool. All right, man. Well, let's just start from the top. Like, probably best way to start is just give me an idea of like what you're.
Always good to start off with a little bit. Hey, I have this time. Is that what you have as well? Or you ask them, hey, do you have any meetings at the top of the hour? So sometimes you get to a long call when they're about to close and they go, oh, I got to jump off for another meeting. I got to go by. So usually if you ask it up front, it's a good idea.
Trying to do and how we can like potentially help.
yeah. I mean, I've known JK for a while, so I've been, he's been a friend of mine. I've been following him, and I saw what he built right from the ground up. So,
Yeah.
I was working with a previous mentor before, and we kind of built a back end together of this business, and I've built a $2,800 offer with like 90-day coaching experience where they work with me, and my main focus is stress and sleep and busy professionals that are struggling with that.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing that I have a lot of people coming to me for pretty much everything. I would say, and now it's gut issues are coming in. There's different things. I talk about a lot of different things on my page. My brand is all about like making health simple, and
Nice.
I went through my struggles with stress, so it's kind of like my bread and butter and what I really love to do. But I'm thinking I want to kind of broaden my horizons a bit. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I hit six figures. Like I want to have maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how could I 3x 4. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how
In what way? Simple probing question.
could I 3x 4x 5x this business. Is it just the offer? Am I not getting enough people to talk to me to close? I'm a closer. I've been doing sales for many years, so I don't have problems closing. For me, I find it's like I can't get enough people on calls. I get quite a bit, and when I do get them, like my closing percentage is pretty good, but I feel like I'm missing out on some. Maybe they're like falling through the cracks. I'm doing a lot of the prospecting on my own. So, one time I won't message the guy, and it's kind of tedious, or it takes some time, and they kind of come in with fire. That's what I told JK, like they come in with fire and then they kind of bounce, or they ghost, or
what does that mean? They come in with fire and bounce?
Like they're, like I have my first question. Like when they come in, they apply on the coaching application. I send them the first text message. It's a text message. I'm using sales message to communicate with them. And so I kind of tell them, like, are you receiving these messages? Blah, 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 blah. And so like, I have a few questions to ask you. So they answer that. And then I start asking like a couple of questions. They won't answer. I have people that don't even answer the first few messages.
Are we calling these people regardless if they answer or not?
I don't call them. I prospect them. So I qualify them by texting. And then if they're a good prospect and like, they kind of fit the profile of people I want to work with, well, then I get them on a call. So, I'm adding a few steps kind of before getting them on the call.
What I mean, typically when I think of like qualifying, the biggest one's like get money to pay for $2,800. Like what is like an ideal client for you, like, for this offer?
I'd say like business owners, directors, people that are in, in executive positions, that there's a lot of demands in their life, and they're pushing themselves, and they're kind of type A personalities,
Okay.
kind of like me, that they're really, they're people that can push the pedal to the metal, but if they aren't careful, they kind of fall into this whirlpool where the stress that hits and they can never shake it off.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what I went through from my own health journey. So it's kind of like I'm attracting the same people as me. Most of my clients tend to be wired like me. They're like me. They see that, they have the same perspective as me. The way they know there's something more than just pharmaceuticals, and they're open-minded to supplementation. And if they follow my content, right, they know what I'm about. So yeah.
So your offer, the 2,800, right? Do you have anything higher ticket than that, or do you have like a continuity thing after they bought?
That's another thing. It's like retainers. How could I keep making more from the people that I've already worked with? I would say that's a big issue with my current business model. It's
one thing I try to do on a call. So I'm like, okay, well, this guy's good at closing. He has a big audience. What are some of the ways that I can use math and stuff or just to highlight problem areas and say, hey, look, if we did this, how much more money would you make? Hey, if we did this, how much more money would you make? John is really open. So when someone has a good attitude, that's the way that you can tell someone has a good attitude is how easily their communication is with them, how freely they're exchanging information with you, and how freely they're sharing their problems. So John I got lucky in this call because John's coming into the call like an open book, right? He knows he has a problem and he's here to solve it. And my job right now is to just kind of probe and try to figure out what are some of the areas that are broken or missing, or like specifically, how am I going to position the offer, which at this time was a 24k mastermind for the year. How am I going to position this to make sense to him?
It's like, I get them pretty far in 3 months, and a lot of the time, like, there are different levels that we can work on to kind of take them to the next step, but I haven't really built the next version of my offer to, kind of create. I don't know if I need to create a whole new experience for them, like, or do I add on to the 90, because like I've built content in the program, right? They're coming in every week, they're drip fed a whole bunch of different things, habits, information about supplementation, yada, yada, yada. So it's like broken up into nutrition, supplementation, and lifestyle. And they got like pretty much a course there, right? Like, so I've been thinking, I'm looking at that. Maybe I can extract that and make it into a course that could be a lower ticket offer that, for people that don't have the money for coaching, or, for the high ticket offer. But I'm also thinking of increasing my prices too. I think 2,800 is not enough. Like, I know that if I were to go like even 3,800, it'd be like no problem for the people that are saying 2,800. So
how long has it been at the 2,800?
A year.
Pretty
much a year. Yeah.
And you're closing, what would you say is your closing percentage?
Like, it depends. Like, if I get a lot of people, like sometimes months, like I struggle to bring in people, right? So the months where I bring in people, I'm consistent, I'm prospecting well, I'm on top of my game. Like the month of November, I brought in 41, there was 41 applications, there were 11 calls, and then I closed 6 of those. So, they weren't all the 2,800. I think maybe 2 of them were like a 1,400 half program.
41 applications, 11 calls, closed 6. What is the obvious problem? Well, how come you have so many applications, but not that many calls? That's kind of weird.
Which is another part of the offer that I have. But yeah, it was at 2,800. It was like a mix of that. So I my closing percentage is not bad at all. Like, that was a good month. I'd say I can fluctuate 50. Between 30 to 50. Like, I'm consistent. I won't be less than that.
Okay. I have some thoughts on that. We can circle back to it. So you said
sometimes you just have the tendency, the urge to just dive in and give coaching. What I did there, almost like it's like an open loop, but I used to catch myself coaching people a lot. And so, you know what? I have some thoughts on it. Let's circle back.
Actually, your goal is to kind of like scale things up 3x, 5x.
Yeah.
Like, where exactly are you at, like, right now?
Income wise, that's why I hit 6 figures this year. So I hit 120K this year. So not bad. Like I feel like I probably could have been a little bit more aggressive, or maybe the way I was dealing with prospecting could have been better. But I think that's my issue. So I don't know if there's like coaching on that, or like systems that you recommend, or things like that. Like, because the reason why I'm actually on this call is I was approached by setters, appointment setters, to like work outside of my business and get me more people to speak with. Yeah. But I feel like that's kind of like skipping what's actually necessary. It's like skipping the root cause, which is my systems aren't good, and the way I have things organized in the business is not good. Like, why should I give these people thousands of dollars, where if I could just build a better system and get more leads coming in, I could close them without having to pay these people, So
it's good that John has already like realized that himself, because that would be something that I would have to like explain to him and get him to agree with it before I made the offer.
I know JK is like better. I've seen it's all about automations and auto DMs and all these kinds of things. So I'm open. Like I want to learn, I want to go to the nitty gritty stuff about my business. If it's mine, if this is my baby, like I need to know it inside out and learn from people that know better than me, because I know I'm not an expert at online businesses, but I'm very coachable and I want to learn. And
coachable. It's one of the things I look for on a call. This person's open. By the way, John, he came onto this call saying, oh yeah, I made 120K. So that's 10K per month. After working with us, he grew to like 30K per month or more now. I can't remember what he's at, but he basically doubled or tripled really fast.
And I think if I have structure and I have good, good vision of where I need to go, well, I'm very focused on that and I can get it done. So,
yeah. So you said these setters are trying to reach out to you just to book more leads, but
yeah, I got approached. Like, I get solicited quite a bit. I have a big following now, so I know there's,
got it.
I know there's people that assume that I could be making more money from my following. So, like they approached me, like one of the first companies that approached me. I've had other people approach me for other marketing stuff. Like I made a lander recently. I invested in that. That helped. That definitely got me a lot of better leads because there's like an email sequence too now. So they got 21 days email. So that brought me customers for sure. But then, I feel like I need, maybe there's something more in my automations and the way I'm dealing with prospects that needs to be optimized, because it's like,
you said 41 apps, November, 11 calls.
Yeah.
Like that's an issue,
Yeah.
I think, I don't know the percentages of that, but calculator here, because that's not exact science, but what's that?
Yeah.
Like 26% of people are actually booking calls. Is it because they're unqualified, or are they falling through the cracks? Like what's going on there?
I don't know. I mean, some of them, like I said, they don't answer. Some of them fall through the cracks. A couple will fall through the cracks. Because probably I have to do that. I don't know if that extra layer of qualifying is, maybe it's not as efficient for me as it should be, or maybe my systems are just not that optimal. I think it's also has to do with my organization. As an individual, I'm not like, I struggle with being organized, and I struggle with being on top of my shit. Like I can get things done, but I'm a little.
Well, guess how I'm going to tie in our service to this problem. Hey, you're unorganized. You'll see how I do it in this call, but I'm thinking the whole time, how am I going to tie in what he's saying to solutions? Hey, well, how you said this? Well, we have this. How we said this? We have this. Here's your problem. This. Here's how we solve it.
Bit like jumping from different things, and so like now with this next year coming up, if I know if I want to take this business to the next level, well, I need to go to the foundations of my business and really get organized in these foundations, because if I want to scale this, like I won't be like, I really hustled, like I hustled all month long for November, and it was a good month, but I know that I'm like, well, what am I missing here? Like the thing when he talks about with the bridge, I'm missing that middle piece. So there are so many people that are literally jumping the big gap to get to the promised line and work, but
So we had like a little pre-framing video back then, which is a bit different, but that's what he's talking about. There's like a bridge between people with their audience and making money, and it's like they're not connected. But anyway,
audience, but it's like the monetization. We just
it's struggling. So I know that I should be making more. I know that I can be making more. I'm kind of doing another even venture with my business where I'm doing e-com. Like I'm going to be bringing in supplementation. So there's going to be a whole other aspect of this business too, because my DMs are basically filled with people asking me like, what product should I take? Which I have this. I'm looking for this. Can you give me this? Like, so I've got like basically money in my DMs with ecom. If I really build, like I partnered with a guy who's doing it here in Canada, and he's a good friend of mine, and we're basically launching in the United States in the US market next, probably within the first Q1 of 2023. So I have a lot of things coming in, and I want to make sure that this is a well sophisticated.
So that's an objection right there. Oh, I want to do ecom.
Oiled machine. By the time I got to start promoting my ecom. This, I want it to be, I want to kind of push this to the next level this year. So I know I need help. I was working with a mentor before. It didn't work out. I felt like he was like,
another objection. Well, why didn't it work out?
Me back, and it just wasn't a good, it wasn't like a good business partnership. So I had to part ways, and that, when that happened, I lost like the automations that were on the back end of the business kind of like were unbranched. So a lot of things when it comes to the automation of like lead flow and CRM and all that stuff need to be optimized. So like I'm looking for basically coaching in the whole shebang of like the fundamentals here of how could I take this to 30K, 40K, I think, I don't know if at one point I have to hire a team to assist me to get there and delegate, the things that take a lot of work that I won't have time for. Like that's the kind of coaching I need right now.
Well, what did you feel like you didn't get from the last mentor?
I want to figure out that objection right now.
You need.
I would say good. Like the only marketing I really had from that guy was call to action on Twitter. Like it was that. I definitely got coached well how to deal with with prospects. I think the skipping, the missing of clients and the not responding, it's my, it's like me being disorganized. Oh, I'm going to answer and I don't answer. I forget to answer, and it's just like it's not automatic. It's not like I'm not doing the right system for who I am, and like I have bad habits essentially. So these bad habits, we talked about when I was working with this dude, but it wasn't. I haven't really, I was never kind of guided on what systems should I be building. When it comes to like, how could I warm up leads that are coming in before, maybe sometimes you want to get them into like a Telegram group and where you're like making specific content for that Telegram group and it's content directed to closing.
Yeah. Like, do you have like an email list now? Like, what's the current process?
Yeah. Like I have an email list. I have a bunch of emails because I have, back in the day, I had like gathering a bunch for a newsletter. And I never really like launched that. The guy was telling me, don't launch your newsletter, maybe wait, let's figure out if we're going to use TG. So it was always like those fundamental like marketing aspects of my business were always put to the side. And, the guy had other projects and I was like kind of like the bottom of the barrel, like priority. So like all like the main shit that needed to be done for my business to like make it solid and a well-oiled machine are just not there. And on my end, like, I feel like there's just so many, like I'm trying to deal with clients, right? I'm trying to deal with fulfillment. I'm like a one-man show now. So like, I want kind of like to optimize. If I'm going to organize
No business partner.
this, like I want somebody who knows what the hell to do and tell me what the hell how I should systematize this so that I can have a crystal clear vision. And like from what I've seen with JK, like this guy is super organized and he knows how to build good systems. And I like the way
like all this language that he's using right now. I'm basically going to use this in my pitch. I'm like, okay, he needs systems, organization, structure, hand-holding, a lot of this stuff.
Talks about things, he's a friend of mine. So I'd rather, work with somebody like him than just tell these setters who don't really give a shit about my business that are going to just try to make a quick buck and, they're revenue oriented that, I'm not going to gain anything from it. Maybe I'll get like a whole back end or whatever they're going to build for me. But I want like this, I want to like long-term this business. I want to really, I have a very specific niche. I mean, I feel like there's not a lot of people on Twitter that are doing specifically sleep and stress, a lot of fitness, a lot of training, but what I'm doing is very niche. And I want to like position myself as like the top person in this niche on this platform because, I have really good outcomes.
Is it kind of like Huberman's stuff?
I mean, yeah. I mean, Huberman is a lot more science than me. I'm more like, I know the stuff that Huberman talks about, all the neurotransmitters. Like I work with like neurotransmitters, neurochemistry, habits, light, sun, all that crap. Like if you know this stuff, like it's basically quantum biology. Like, and this is where medicine is going. So now it's becoming a very popular topic. Everybody's, well, because of Huberman, he's got such a big platform. Everybody's hearing about it. But yeah, there's, there's a lot of people doing what Huberman does. And
so it's like approaching the same topic, but from your personal angle. And
he's more of like the intellectual kind of like the research. I'm just like, I want everybody to like, I want science to be simple. I don't want like all this jargon. I know what I'm talking about. I know the jargon myself, but me, it's like the masses. Like I want everybody to be able to understand their health. I think Huberman does a pretty good job simplifying it, but he does get pretty deep and it does feel like, his content is a lot more like lecture based. Like it's almost like you're at a university lecture listening to science. Right. So I'm different. I never like, people tell me, oh, like, you're like Huberman. I don't look at myself as Huberman. Like we have the same interests, but I love supplements.
I
love my supplements. I do the same principle of like protocols and how can you increase GABA? How can you sleep better? Use this stack of things. Like it's pretty much very similar to what he's doing for sure.
Okay. So that makes sense, dude. And I didn't ask you about your offer. So it's 2,800 for 90 days.
Yeah.
Like, are you capped at a certain amount of clients? Is it more so like a course? Like how much one-on-one time do you have? Like, I guess how much time are you fulfilling on that offer with your clients?
Right now, I have like, I could literally double or triple and I'd be like, good. Like, like I don't, with the offer that I have, I'm very comfortable, but I know I can push myself more. So I'm trying to figure out a way of like, I don't want to swamp myself in work either and constantly be working 24/7, but I want to find a good ratio of, what I kind of estimated in my head, maybe like 30K or 40K worth of clients, and then start, high ticket offer clients. And then, from there, kind of start making other smaller offers where maybe there's a course, maybe there's something that I can have passively where I don't have to put in time, and then I'm going to have the e-com after too. I think I'm going to be pretty hands full. I won't need to be doing too much coaching either. So I don't know, like,
is that the idea?
Like, yeah, like, I mean,
ultimately, you don't want to coach.
Do I want to be coaching, do I want to be doing 100K a month coaching business? Absolutely not, because I'm going to be working nonstop. It's like, when you're working with a lot of people that are stressed out and that are struggling with sleep, it's like, they're depressed, right? They have like, serious issues, a lot of them. And sometimes it's heavy, right? So like,
it's not exactly like energizing to work with them.
Sometimes, there's some people, like for me, it's really energizing to help them and make them get better. And seeing, like, I'm telling you, like they come in, I see their faces, they look like friggin' zombies, to at the end, like bringing back life into their face and they look better and they look like they're getting sleep again. It's super fulfilling. And when you help people and you get them to these places, I love it. I really enjoy the coaching, but I look at it and like, right now as a one-man show, if I were to like triple my clients, it'd be a lot of shit. Like I need to hire somebody to assist me at least with like protocol building, sending out the emails, the easy shit that takes, when I'm doing it myself, takes me some time. So when I was working before with the guy, they were doing fulfillment. Like I was doing the mentor I was working with, it was like him and his wife, and they were doing fulfillment, and he was like kind of just mentoring me and coaching me and talking to me. We were like chatting, just like, how could I sell better? How could I close better? How could I prospect better? But they had it all automated. Like, it was like, I put in my notes at the end of my call, they would send it to the VA would fill out the protocol, my key points that I want the client to know what the main focus is for the month. And it was all automated. That saved me a lot of time. I was better. I was concentrating with mainly I don't mind doing the prospecting, but I think like fulfillment, all these things, like I think it adds a lot. Like, my bandwidth is already, dude, like I'm not a guy that can like sit down for like 7 hours straight and concentrate. Like my concentration is kind of like, I move a lot. I think a lot of things, and I kind of rotate. So what I realized with myself is I have to kind of become more systematized in the way I run my business, and, schedule things and really stick to the schedule, because I know that once I'm hitting 30, 40,000, if I don't do this, I'm going to be fucking a mess. So, I want you guys, if I'm going to work with you guys, like, I want somebody to really tell me, like, this is what's going to happen when you reach this point. Like, this is what you need to be ready for. These are the ways you prepare for this situation. And, where I basically finish off where I left off with this guy, because they were doing all of that for me, and I never really learned how to do it myself. Like, I never really got myself into the nitty gritty of like understanding the back end of my business completely and knowing, okay, like, this is what's going to happen. I want to be more, I want to feel like I'm at 110% control of my business. And, when it's going to be time to scale this and to delegate things, like, I know what works best for me and what I can, hire these people, or whatever you guys recommend is a better idea. I don't know what, like, is hiring VAs the best idea? Is there other things that need to be done? Like, I want that mentorship. I want that like guidance.
So it's just like step by step, like, okay, here's like, okay, if you want to get to 20K, 30K, 40K, 50K, so keep pushing this thing. Like, what do I need at each step? What, who should I hire? What should I do? What systems do I need?
Yeah. Which offers do I need? Like, is there other like, I don't know how, like, are people who are making big bucks, are they just doing high ticket offers, or are they doing, other things? Like, how are people complementing, like, cushioning that income? Like,
there's multiple different types of systems. Like, you can get there with low ticket, you can get there with high ticket.
Yeah.
So it's not like one's right or wrong. It's just like which one most complements you.
That's it. Like, I was told by the last guy that, like, I should not go to the cheapy stuff. Like, he's saying that I shouldn't go to that. I shouldn't, I just keep the brand high, like an exclusive brand, so I don't know. Like, I don't know, and like, and then there's a danger of like, can I cannibalize with a course? Can I cannibalize my coaching? Like, are people just going to go there? Like what I've been hearing, what I've been reading is that, like, you can give all the sauce. Like, I've seen Hormozy talk about, like, give all the sauce, like, give all the good stuff, but don't give the implementation. Like, you don't have, like, even if you give them the information, you don't tell them how to implement it in their own lives. And that's what I hear from a lot of my prospects and clients is that, like, oh, like, I have all this information, but I don't know, like, what applies to me, and I don't know what to use for me. That's where they come and hire me, right? So
man. Dude, so there's a lot there. Obviously, like, I can tell from talking to you, like, you got like a billion ideas, and it's like all the information is already there. It's just like you said, it's like someone needs to connect the dots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So okay, so we've been doing this for like a year, and like, I guess, how long have you been wanting to just scale things up? Like, is this relatively recently that you started thinking about this, or?
I don't know, man. I mean, last time when I was, the dream started a while ago when I started working with the last mentor. He made all these promises, and was, oh, we're gonna scale this to 30K in a few months. Like, and we never, like, I was doing the prospecting, I was doing the closing, I was doing everything, but I was never, I was never assisted in those things, those tweaks that I needed to do to hit 30, 40, 50, like, I've been wanting to do that. He told me I could do it, but I was never, like, that system was never built for me, or I was never taught how to build the system. So, I've been wanting to scale. For us, I'm a guy's like, next level, please, next level. Like, how do I go to the next level? But I find, like, I'm my own worst enemy sometimes in my business. Like, it's like, I want to push more, but then, like, things get overwhelming, and then, like, I lose that fire. And I think because I don't have that organization, like, I don't have the drive, and I kind of, like, put my foot off the pedal a bit, slow things down. And then, like, I don't know, I want to be a little bit, I don't know if it's just me, maybe I need that R&R and, rest and recovery and taking those breaks. But I think I could be, like, I really know that I could be pushing more. I know that I can be bringing in more clients. I would have just as much freedom as I have now. Basically this whole scaling is like, I want to be more busy, and I want to be, helping more people at the end of the day, because this is, if I can get more clients in this program, it's going to, help me be fulfilled and help me enjoy myself and make me money at the same time, while keep on expanding. So, like, I have these ideas and I want to keep growing, but I feel like the coaching right now is the bread and butter. That's where I'm making all my income. I have a few affiliate things, but, like, I'm living off my coaching. So, that's maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's, like, the pressure that I have is so much that I'm only relying on my one coaching offer, and I should be, making something else or building something else that can make me more. I don't know, like, I'm just,
dude, sure. Like, the way I think about it, anytime, like, you have a coaching offer, anytime you want to add on another thing, it's almost like adding on another business. Maybe a course is like there's all this other stuff that goes with it all the time. It's like, I would always say, like, let's keep the main thing, and, like, systemize the coaching, scale it, because there's no reason why you can get to 30K per month or more just from that. Once we start thinking, like, okay, well, like, what about a Telegram group? What about this? What about that? What about this? It's just like adding a lot of complexity when it really, like, what we need is, like, simplification right now.
What am I doing? What am I doing right now? He has a lot of ideas, and he's like, hey, I want to do this low ticket thing, this. I say, hey, anytime we're going to add on a new offer, it's basically like adding on a new business, which is true. The thing that helps people in John's situation scale, the people in any situation, is focus, right? It's focus, keep the main thing. I'm not just saying this because it's like a tactic, it's true, right? So you need some business acumen when you're talking to people if you're selling a business type of offer, right? This isn't coming from a script, but it's true. It's very true that it's like, hey, bro, like we're talking about growing 2 businesses when the first one's not even scaling. So let's just grow this one first. And so he has to agree to that. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. And so,
okay.
So yeah, I was jotting down some notes. So it's like big thing. First things first, it's like if we're gonna, I assume you booked this call to talk about booking more calls and all that. Like lead generation is like it's definitely important. Really, like to get to 50K, 100K per month, like you really just need a strong offer and like good legit. And then like systems and stuff, just ideally like where you're not working like 80 hours a week, actually delivering the service once you have a lot of clients, right?
Yeah.
And so for you right now, like I think the first thing, like the foundational piece is looking at your offer. In my mind, when you say it's 2,800, one time, we don't have anything else after that. It's kind of like, it's like you get in that mode where you're constantly like, I don't know, trying to fill up the bathtub, but you have to run to the river with a bucket and you come back. But it's like we have like a leaky bucket basically, right? Like people are like, we're constantly finding new clients when we should be like, we should be growing like that client base. They should be sticking around longer. And maybe even like, we have clients that offer a similar service as you, like Coach Raj, for example. He specifically helps guys with sleep, entrepreneurs. The reason why I asked about, are you working with, do you have something higher ticket? Because like typically if you're going to work with a business owner, like the only reason why you want to work with a business owner over like Joe Blow is because you can charge them more. And so like 2,800 is like in my mind, like not that high ticket for a business owner if we position it right. And if you're closing 50%, usually that's a sign that you just need to increase your prices, right? You're probably qualifying too hard, or you just need to increase your prices. So like it's a good problem to have that you're closing high, but like big things like, okay, like let's look at the offer itself. Can we increase the price?
You're closing higher than 50% typically means you're qualifying too hard or your price is too low. That's true.
Add on a retainer so that people are sticking around. We have some like monthly recurring revenue, right? Which is going to take off some of the pressure where you're like, fuck, like I had a really great month in November, December. Oh, it's like, it sucked. Oh no, it's like, like we just want to keep growing, like, and just keep adding rather than like having to like start from scratch, because that's like the worst feeling in business.
Yeah. I've been told like, that's how it's like part of my character is to be like that. Like always, like I'm like the bird of prey that comes down, eats the meal, eats it fast, and like I need to go hunt again. Like I shouldn't be doing that though. It's not optimal for my mental well being. It's tough. No. Like what you're saying is right. It's like up and down. It's like it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, man. Well, it's kind of like
agreement. Yes, you're right.
Bird of prey. It's honestly it's like going from like hunter gatherer to like more like farmer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like we want to like domesticate. Like we want to build like a little thing to domesticate these clients and to like to keep them there and to like to help them multiply rather than just constantly going on hunts. Because I think I'm the same way in the sense that I love I love like talking and like growing the business and finding new clients and all this stuff too. But at the end of the day, it's like if we really want to hit sustainable growth, like I'm not sure, like is like 30K, is that just like a fancy number? Like is that like goal number one, or do you want to like keep pushing beyond that?
That's goal number one. I guess like I know that
stretch the goal.
This brand is worth way more.
Because remember, our offer is 24K for the year at this point. So 30K, like I want to keep stretching that.
Like, I've been told that before. I know there's a lot of money on the table here. But maybe I'm just like my like, and that was a big issue when I was starting this.
I need a bubbly. I'll keep this playing.
This is like really believing that, I'm worth more than this, and I could charge this price and not feel like bad about it. So I'm over that hump. Like I know that I could charge more. How much am I willing to do that? That's another question. But I know that like I tell myself, like if somebody I'm working with, the people that I'm working with, they're closing at 2,800, like 4 or 5K, like what's the difference for them? Like it's not a big difference. So
the difference is like in your own head. It's not a difference.
That's it.
Like we had a client named Aaron who's just joined JK. It really helps me have the outside perspective because he didn't have an offer, but he had a big following. He's like, what should I sell? And JK's like, well, maybe do ghostwriting. He's like, what should I charge? It's like 25K. And he was like, what the fuck? Because he was only making like 5K per month. He's like 25K per client. He's like, no way. It was like out of his reality, really. He's like, okay, I had a call from him. He's like, maybe start at 12 and then work your way up, which he did. He got his first client for 12K like a week later, which was like way more than he's ever sold before. So I think he's trying to sell something for like $1,000 a month.
Giving some people some case studies around my point. This is just a good thing to do if you have stories. If you know one of his issues is low price point, give them a case study. And so like it can definitely help kind of get someone's outside perspective for one. But dude, like before I go into like all the stuff about us, because I definitely think we can help in a lot of ways. Like the big red flag for me is like this e-com thing. Like is this because like I know like it's gonna take, you gotta like tie off this red flag that came up earlier.
A lot of bandwidth time to like go and create an e-com and like launch that. And you said you want to do that for Q1. Like, what is the bigger priority? Or like growing the coaching thing, or like, are we doing e-com?
Coaching is number one. So, this idea of the e-com has been a discussion for a while. It's more like, the guy I partner with, he's doing a distribution of practitioner grade supplements here in Canada. So like, he's really big here. He has a very sophisticated e-com business already himself. So we kind of came to this idea of starting something in the US because I had a lot of clients that were ordering from him, but coming through Canada. So there was big shipping fees, and we're like, we saw that my brand was growing quite a bit, and he was always interested in like really dipping his toes in the American market and seeing what he can do as a distributor of practitioner grade supplements. So yeah, like this is more kind of like a side thing for both of us. It's like, it's not like a priority where, this has to pay our bills. We're kind of going to be doing this to fulfill my clients' needs that are coming in, and all the people that are just reaching out to me asking for products. I'm going to have kind of like a shop for them to just buy stuff. So this is not going to be like I don't think we're going to go very hard into this. We're going to have a pretty basic website, Shopify website. And, we're just going to use this kind of like a
basically
platform.
just to fulfill for your existing clients.
Exactly. It's more of a fulfillment. He has practitioners that are in Canada that, they have clients in the US that are going to buy from our shop too. So it's going to be very basic to start off. It's not going to be this whole like intricate thing. And then we're going to see slowly but surely. I mean, my priority is my coaching. Like my business, what I'm doing is my number one priority. Like he knows this. He's got his own other business here. It's just like now we're kind of like extending our foothold into there and dipping our toes and testing the waters and seeing what we can do. He has high expectation. He has high hopes. We both think we can make a good dime off of my following too. So we'll see. I mean, it's not like, we both know, like, it's both clear between both of us that our businesses are like, he's doing his thing here, I'm doing my thing here.
Right.
That's the number one priority is my business and how it's working and all that stuff. So I'm looking at like if I could build my foundation solid and all the things I need to do for my stuff, then, I'm going to have the funds to really go in and do other stuff with the e-com, but the e-com is going to be like just peanuts, like nothing crazy to start off kind of thing.
Gotcha. So this is something that as you're growing your client base, it's an auxiliary thing. It's not like, I'm going to focus 100% on e-com.
No.
Okay. That makes sense, man. Well, dude, I feel like I have a pretty solid understanding of most stuff that's going on. So biggest issue is like, we want to like 5x the business. But it's like, there's a few roadblocks. So number one, it's like, well, in my mind, like we have some issue between booking calls and like, there's a gap between the people that are booking calls and then showing up. Right. Once they're on the calls, like you have a really good closing percentage.
Yeah.
So it's like, we got to like figure out what's going on there. And then once that's fixed, like, okay, we can start increasing the calls. The other thing is like looking at the price. How are we pitching the offer? Like why not charge more so we can collect more upfront? Because if you want to get to 30K per month, it's a lot easier. If you're, if it's 5K, then you only need 6 clients. If it's 2,800, then you need basically 12, right? So
yeah.
And then like also if we have,
we're mapping out, hey, I'm not like showing, what am I doing? I'm not saying here's exactly how we're going to solve all these things. Here are the big things that I'm seeing that we need to do to get you to your number.
Like a monthly recurring revenue kind of retainer thing on the back end that can just stack up over time, and then we can still keep on hunting, which we enjoy.
What's that retainer? Like, enlighten me more about what you mean by like a retainer. Like we
just want like some kind of continuity offer, something like a monthly recurring revenue offer. Typically with coaching businesses, we have 3 different types of offers. There's time and place to implement them. So like right now, I would stick with something like high ticket. So it's like for you, it's like yours is like a non-ROI offer. So it's harder to charge 10K typically, but anywhere between like 3K to 5K, maybe 6K. Something like high ticket for your main coaching offer. It's like the thing. And then as an upsell or as like the back end, either have something where it's a higher, like we work together for a longer time and it's higher ticket, or it's like a continuity offer where it's like they want to keep working with you. We just figure out a way to, a back end thing.
Okay. And do they pay that at the end, or like you kind of get, like you kind of have them? Okay.
Yeah, it's expensive. There's different ways to sell it. And so like that's like the first thing's like the foundation. So it's like, okay, look, it's like from there, we want to look at the other side of the bridge, right? The monetization part. Like, is there systems and processes we can implement to start, increasing the call volume so you're not like having to like hustle all the time prospecting. I think it would make sense to like, once you have the foundations in place, like we could actually look at appointment setters. So like in my mind, there's a few different types. So some of our guys have like JK's team, like we have an appointment setter who calls people. So all these people you're getting their phone numbers and you're texting them. You can have a guy calling these people, right? And just like setting them for you. You pay them very low, they basically pay them on commission for calls. Like every call that closes, like you pay them, which is nice. You can have someone in your DMs, like setting calls as well. Like we have people that set ideally 3 to 5 calls a day through DMs only for JK. And so like there is like some stuff like we can look at down the road. Like, so it's like first things first, let's figure out the foundations, offer, lead gen, like these are the main things. And then from there, it's like, let's start building on the backend systems. And like typically for us, like we like to work with guys for like a full year because, it's like, you're not gonna like implement all this stuff overnight. And usually we tend to work in like sprints. So it's like every 6 weeks, we want to have one major piece for you. It's like, okay, first let's figure out the offer and lead gen. Okay, next let's look at your time. Like, are you spending way too much time in certain places? Let's see if we can take you out of that. So we can either have some automations or we can hire like a VA or something, whatever makes sense. That's kind of like how we work. So it's like we work on like an individual basis with our clients, kind of like figuring out what you need specifically. And everything we do is kind of custom, but basically the way we work together, it's like, let's figure out, okay, let's give you the plan, like help you implement the strategies, and just like coach you and support you kind of along the way.
Is it like JK? It's you? Is it all you guys? How many guys are you?
Yeah, so there's like 4. So we all basically coach on different parts of the process. So
Okay.
JK is in there coaching on audience building and like offers, things like that, and like big picture stuff. I coach on lead gen sales. Eddie coaches on like content. Eddie Kwan, I'm not sure if you know him.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Booth, he coaches on fulfillment stuff. And I specifically thought of him for your offer. So it's like, once we start, like all the stuff that you had with the other clients where they were doing automations and stuff, like he helps people do that.
Okay.
So we could, you just talk to him about like what they were doing, and he could figure out this similar system where it's like, oh, the notes go to VA, they transfer out, and like, they do all the stuff. Like we could set that up if he could.
Okay.
And then, yeah, dude, like I wrote down like, I wrote down something here. It's like delegate. So one thing that we're big on, and it's like what you didn't have with your last mentor, it's like they just kind of did the stuff for you, or it's like, okay, we'll set these systems up, and you didn't really like know how to do it. And have you ever heard the difference between delegation and outsourcing?
Yeah, I mean, outsourcing is just like delegating is like giving it away so you don't have to do it yourself and you're not like engaged in the process, right? Like that's what it felt like with me. And then for me, the appointment instead, it was just like delegating again, the issue of not fixing my foundations, right? So
yeah, in my mind, like the difference between delegation and outsourcing is like, I don't want to figure out how to do this. Here, I'm just going to throw some money at you. You do it for me. Like, I don't want to learn the skill. Delegation is like, okay, I learned sales. Now I can hire a salesperson because I can train him. Like, I know he's good or bad. It's the opposite. Yeah, it's basically the opposite. And we're really big on like helping people learn the skills of the different pieces. Like you already have a big following, but if you didn't, like here's how to tweet. Like here are the things you should be tweeting about. Like here's how you're setting calls from your over DMs. Like here's how you're like creating email lists. Like writing emails. Like here's how you're doing sales calls. All the stuff so that you build the skill first, and then we can delegate it and kind of like first of all get the processes in place for each piece of the puzzle, and then it's like we can just delegate it because now we know how to do it. We know what to look for.
Yeah. My fiance, she was telling me, I was telling her about all this stuff, I talk about the business with her and stuff, and she's like, yeah, like
I was like, fiance, potential red flag.
You were saying, like she's like, you're just trying to outsource everybody. You're trying to like not learn the actual process of your business. And she's like, and it was kind of a wake up call for me. I was like, yeah, like maybe I am trying to like not do the work, the actually important work of really understanding the ins and outs of what the hell I'm doing. And
I'm like, oh, perfect. It sounds like she's already on board.
How I can, like if it's not me, it's going to be no one, right? Like no one's going to care. Like she's always like, yeah, like no one's going to care as much about your business than you are. So, I was like, yeah, you're fucking, you're right. Like I should definitely, if I'm going to learn this, I'm going to invest in something for my business. Like I better invest in something that's going to make me a better business owner and really understand like, okay, like this is my baby. This is how I'm going to make my baby grow and just go, I've worked with people, right? I've worked with other people. Even before this mentor, the last guy that I worked with Jose Rosado to start my business. So are you familiar with Jose Rosado?
Yeah, he's one of our clients and Tweets and clients.
Yeah, exactly. So I was working with him back in the day when I first started my business. So he gave me like the 101. And then, so, I mean, it's just I want the ins and outs, and I want to learn this myself. And I think that's what I need at this point, especially if I want to scale it and just for the future and longevity of what I'm doing, right? Like I'm building a very sophisticated brand. So I want to make sure that like I, insurance proof this business to, bring out the best and really pull out the best out of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you have I think it's such a big pain point. And if you kind of position yourself in the right way, and all the other pieces are there, like the offers dialed in, the lead gen process, like 30K per month is nothing.
Yeah, I know. I was hearing from the other, the guy I was working with previously, like what he was doing with the other coaches. I know it's nothing. It's peanuts. It's peanuts.
Like Raj, his stuff, granted, it is more kind of, he does fitness, but he works at the exact same market, and he also talks a lot about sleep and brain fog and stuff. And like I think he charges, I'm not sure what it is paying in full, but I think he works with people for like 8 months at a time for like $900 a month.
Oh, really? Okay. So that's what you mean by retainers, like a long period.
Okay. Well, it's like, so let's say it's 8 months and you want to charge $900 a month. You could do, it's like, I'm not sure what that is exactly at the top of my head. Super math, 5,400 or something like that. 900 times 7,200. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so you could do on a call, it could be like 7,200 over 8 months, or maybe give them like a bonus if they like pay full, like it's 6K or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Because like we want to collect more cash up front. We want to like keep people for longer. We want to have something on the back end. So like
I see what you mean. So it's not even about like re-sign, like doing a 3-month program and then re-signing. It's like literally making it a 6 month, 7 month, 8 month, whatever process you want it to be, where it's like a whole revamp and they're working with you long term kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like the big thing is like how you're like this. If you're going to do like a re-sign, it's like the selling for that thing happens like day one. It's like here's the process. Like you're here on it's like here's step 1. You're here. Step 2 is like, oh, I have this other thing for you. Like once you kind of like the way I would be selling it if I were you is just like, okay, you like kind of like subpart to part. It's like, okay, you're like below average right now. You have your sleep is all fucked, your energy, whatever it is. Like you're super stressed. We got to fix these first, get you to like just average, and then there's like good to great, which would be like the next thing. That's how I probably think of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, for you, it's like the biggest thing is also I think just taking all your ideas. It's like, okay, like only focus on these, just do these, you know, and should like put it, like having someone to kind of, I think, just look over your shoulder and make sure that we're just doing things in sequence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me about any of that stuff before I kind of keep going on?
No, I mean, I think it's pretty clear, man. I mean, I think you, what I want to hear. So like, so you guys are just building out the whole back end, like, just like refresh me again on like the whole picture of what you guys are doing.
Dude, like we basically work with people to, I mean,
consulting.
sure.
So are you guys
Well, it's
like coaching, right? Like you're making sure that as I'm building this system, like you guys aren't doing it from me, right? Like I'm like learning and you're showing me what's the way to do it and I'm doing it myself and building it myself kind of thing, or like,
yeah,
that's what I need a bit more clarity here.
Yeah, essentially it's like, okay, here's all the strategies, here's how to implement them. We're going to like help you. If you have any questions, we can help you implement them. We're not like building things for you necessarily. It's really just like making sure that you're doing it right and it's working.
Okay. And so like things like copy and stuff like that, like, am I learning that, or is that like stuff you guys, like, is that services you guys offer? You guys connect me with people that copy, you know, like,
I mean, like, it just depends. Like if it's in our like wheelhouse of things that we can help with, like we can definitely help. Okay. And like copy is one of them, you know, everyone on the team is pretty good at writing copy.
Yeah. I can tell that.
Yeah, dude. Does that make sense? Any other questions about?
No, that's it, man. That's it.
Yeah. So we meet a few times a week in terms of like support in a group setting, but a lot of it's just over one-on-one. So it's like we work over Slack. So it's like you get your own channel. Some clients are like, we can just message them once a week, see how they're going. They'll just disappear and come back with like, hey, I made like 30K this month. Like awesome. Others it's like maybe we send them a Loom video if they need that. Others it's like jump on a one-on-one call with them. Others is they just jump on the group calls. Just really depends. Like we just make ourselves available to make sure that you're not getting stuck and you're making progress and stuff like that. And that's basically like how we structure the program.
Perfect. Cool.
Yeah. And so like, I guess before I go on, like you brought up your fiance, like I guess I should ask, like, does she know like that we're like on this call? Is this more like
I told her. Yeah, no, I told her. I already told her that I was planning for the business and I'm looking to level it up and take things to the next level. I mean, I'm actually on this call because of her, because
yes, fiance.
I was about to go work with those setters, right? Like I was gonna probably go and just spend, they were asking for 3K a month plus closing, and each person they closed was X amount of dollars, and I was like, she felt like it was just like not like, she felt like the money I could be spending, if I were going to spend that kind of money, well, it better be something that's going to like actually make me better at my business, not remove a chore that I should be doing for my business, right? Like
yeah, she sounds smart. Does she help you with the business?
She like designed a few things initially. I mean, she helped a bit at the beginning for sure. Like the grassroots, she helped me like make it nice, make a nice PDF, and I could send it to my clients. But nice. She's gonna help me. Like she likes to like help it look like clean and professional. She's a lawyer, so she's way more organized and way more on top of her shit than I am.
Yeah, well, it's good that this opposites track.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, cool, dude. Well, okay, so we're like pretty clear on stuff that we're working on. In terms of like a time commitment, like I just say like we work together for the year because it's like, again, there's a lot of stuff that we have to fix.
Yeah.
Typically you're looking at like at least 1 to 2 hours a day to kind of like put into work to like doing the work of like Ron was saying. Is that pretty doable for you?
Yeah, bro, 100%.
Bandwidth. So there's timing and bandwidth. That's a bandwidth question.
100%.
Okay. Cool, dude. Well, the only thing we haven't really discussed is like the price. So
yeah.
Essentially it's 20K, which you can pay that up front and kind of get a bonus or like a discount for the year, or 2K per month.
Yeah.
Also, we do like a 60-day leverage even.
So at the time when we were pitching this offer, I changed the way I was pitching the price later, but JK and Ryan had talked to some financial guy and was like, oh, just get more clients in paying 2K per month versus trying to collect more upfront. And so that's how they wanted me to pitch. Yeah, it's 20K upfront or just 2K per month. So it's 24 total. That way, that was like a very easy price point.
Yeah, I mean, I think I will do, if I'm going to do this, like I want to do this. The thing with me is that I'm leaving on vacation in mid-January. So I'm going for 2 weeks. I don't know if like it's good to start right now for 2 weeks. I don't know what you think, but
this was recorded on end of December, by the way.
I would already, like right off the bat, I'll tell you, I'll probably do the 2,000 per month. That's just a lot more. It's gonna work better for me. So I'll do that. But I don't know. Like, should I wait till February to start?
I didn't ask him a timing question, but it's coming up now. So whenever there's all these different doors that someone can kind of like escape through, usually you want to preempt them by asking them earlier on in the conversation. By the way, if you found a way to do all this, when would you want to get started? Oh, I'm going on vacation. Oh, okay, cool. Then we can talk about it.
Do I start now and kind of go and cut it halfway as we're starting and building up momentum? Like, what do you guys think? Like, what works better for you? What do you think is more like? Because for me, I was like telling myself, okay, like even with the setters, I was going to start beginning of February, because I'm like, well, fuck, like,
how does Ben handle? Hey, I want to go on vacation. When should I do it? We're about to see.
I'm going to start January. I'm going to talk, and then we're going to put everything on pause for, like, it's just not going to be efficient.
Are you like completely on break until February? Like, you're not taking any calls, you're not doing any prospecting, nothing?
I'm working, right? I'm doing my thing until I leave for vacation. So I'm working, but I'm just wondering, like, because, when I was talking with the setters, they're like, it's going to take us a couple of weeks, and then we have to start prospecting and booking calls and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was kind of like, I felt like it was going to be off. So I was like, well, maybe we'll just start in February and start to, like, maybe what I was going to do with them is the first 2 weeks kind of discuss things. They can take their time and go over whatever I need to go over, what they need to go over on their own. And then we would be ready to start like getting calls booked the first week of February kind of thing. So,
well, dude, it's like, in my mind, it's like, the question is like, well, like, do you want to start getting results now or in February? Because we can figure out, we can probably like hold off the second payment. Like, we can just start now, kind of start working on foundation pieces.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I want to go, like, we can make the second payment come out after you're back or something. Like, we can just make it work for you.
Like, dude, like, well, 2K a month is nothing. Like, it's just one, right now it's one client. And, I think from what I sense from you guys, like, this is what's going to build me these foundations that I need to do. Like, I need somebody that's like, kind of like holding my hand every step of the way, but not right. Like, where I'm like, I have to do the fucking work and I have to build this myself. So I want to do it.
Yeah.
I just,
you gotta do the work regardless. So you might as well have guidance from someone who knows.
That's it. Like, because I know, her big discussion is like, oh, well, what, you haven't even, it takes time. It's been, you've only been doing this for a year, right? She's like, oh, well, why don't you do things like, why don't you try on your own and keep getting more organized and keep doing your things? And I'm like, I'm more of the mentality like, okay, like, this is not who, like, I'm not, my specialty isn't an online business. Like, if I could have somebody, invest in somebody, like, I was about to do this last time and it was a big deal, but now my business is in a different level and I'm ready for this and I know that I could get this done. So I think, like, I don't know, send me the contract, man, because I think it's super fair for what you guys are offering, 2K a month. And, I believe that you guys can get me to where I want to be. So that's going to be a drop in the bucket, literally, for me. If, like, like her biggest fear, and I'll tell you this, because this is another issue why I'm on this call with you, is her biggest fear was, oh, like, are those people just saying they're going to do appointments, saying they're going to get you clients and they're promising you X, Y, Z, X, tens of thousands of dollars a month. But, again, you're not their priority, like the last guy who you worked with, blah, 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 right? So I like what you guys are doing, because I think that's what I need. It's more of what's going to be beneficial for me as an individual and for my business. And I think, she's like, why don't you take this money? She's like, you're going to spend 10K. Why don't you pay it on somebody who's going to actually make you better at your business, not just remove a responsibility from your business? So if that's what you guys can offer me, man, like fucking $2,000 a month, fucking good. Golden.
Yeah, dude. Okay. So I 100% agree. And like, I'm not saying like we never get setters, because again, it's just like time and place, right?
Right. Exactly. It's now's not the time.
Yeah, like sequence it's the word. It's like we want to solve problems in the right sequence. So okay, like I can send you the contract, but like, do you just want to sign up right now? Like,
yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it now.
Let's just do it now. Fucking John.
I'm gonna do it.
All right. There you have it. Another call close. Was it the easiest call in the world to close? I mean, yeah, it was pretty easy. It wasn't like I had to do all this jiu-jitsu or anything, but you got to see how I asked questions and how I positioned the offer. Luckily, John is like an action taker. He's very action oriented. He's like very coachable, and he wasn't a little bitch. So shout out to John for being a great prospect and a great client and a cool dude. So anyway, hopefully you got something out of this. Comment in the comments. What'd you think? What did you learn? Nothing much else to share. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos for the other live sales calls. I'll keep dropping them if you like them. I get a few people DMing me saying, hey, these are valuable. So hopefully you got something out of it. All right. Thanks for watching.